So there's still a lot of people out there who think the World Economic Forum is just a place of ideas. Yeah, they got some marvelous ideas, all right. 15-minute cities, CBDCs, personal carbon scores, conventional farming is not sustainable. All the list goes on and on. The non-governmental organizations and the individuals I'm going to mention here, I have the receipts for them all. I've listed them in previous videos, but we don't want a 20-minute video here. Feel free to fact check it. Most of this information is available directly in the official World Economic Forum's website. Again, non-governmental organizations that hold power. NATO is now headed by Mark Rutte, a classmate of Justin Trudeau's at the Young Global Leaders Program, former Prime Minister of the Netherlands until what is referred to in English as the Dutch Farmers' Revolt finally ran him out. And he just pops up like a mushroom at the head of NATO, no less. Yeah, maybe Trump's threatening to leave NATO for more than just economic reasons, but that's another subject matter. The United Nations, headed by Antonio Guterres. I love that. Such a villainous name, Guterres. He sat on the World Economic Forum's foundation board until being placed as the head of the United Nations. The EU Commission in Brussels, Ursula von der Leyen. She sits on the board of trustees at the World Economic Forum, along with Chrystia Freeland, Canada's own Chrystia Freeland. The Board of Trustees in Brussels has a lot of power over the sovereign rights of the EU nations. I've covered all of that before. We're not going to get into it here again. Unless things have changed inside of the last 6 weeks or 2 months, the heads of the IMF and the World Bank, WEF members, Young Global Leaders graduates. I didn't bother going back in my notes to fish their names out. I don't recall them. The World Health Organization. Well, we saw they had quite a bit of clout on a global level, did they not, in 2020, 21, and 22? Now, the head of the WHO, the evil Dr. Tedros, there's another suitably villainous name, and that dude is a villain. Well, I can't find Tedros in the World Economic Forum, but the WHO is WEF infested. Example, Dr. Tam in Canada, our unelected health advisor, and Dr. Bonnie Henry. And should you care to go rooting about in the WHO for WEF members, you'll find them aplenty. Currently, the leaders of France, Germany, and the UK, amongst others, are Young Global Leaders graduates and WEF members. France, Macron. Germany, first Olaf Scholz, now the new guy who's got voted in, who's supposed to be a conservative. Friedrich Merz, is it? The UK, Keir Starmer, who's on public record as saying he puts his loyalties to the World Economic Forum ahead of the UK that he's Prime Minister of. Flipping over to Canada quickly. Canada's popped up like a mushroom. Prime Minister Mark Carney, as is his predecessor, Justin Trudeau, active status WEF members. In fact, Carney sits on the foundation board and is a power player, lifelong member. Trudeau is a minion. Yeah, Carney. He's one of the policy setters at the World Economic Forum. Now, it's fact that 75% of Justin Trudeau's cabinet ministers were Young Global Leaders graduates, WEF members. I haven't had time to fact check Carney's current ministers, but being as about all he thinned out were Trudeau's old party buddies, classmates, and stag party buddies, we can assume that the percentage hasn't changed. If anything, it's gotten higher in Carney's government. Sticking to Canada, provincial premiers David Eby, Wab Kinew, Doug Ford. Oh, they buried that guy deep, but I found him. See the video on Doug in particular if you want. Oh, and Susan Holt, recently elected in the East Coast. And the Yukon leader, whose name I didn't bother going back into my notes to find here. I can't find him as a Young Global Leaders Program graduate or active status WEF member, but his involvement with the World Economic Forum's Global Future Councils and etc. certainly place him with considerable involvement with the World Economic Forum. Yeah, so those who say the WEF is just a forum of ideas, yeah, they got some dandy ideas, all right. I don't know how anybody can like any of them if you look past the WEF's pretty pastel presentation. I don't know how many people I've seen on mostly TikTok say, oh, I researched the World Economic Forum. Their sustainable development goals are delightful. Read past the headlines. Listen to what they say at their public meetings at Davos. Again, SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. They talk about it every year at Davos, and they clearly state conventional farming is not sustainable, and that alternative protein sources are a must for we the peasantry. Yeah, they got a lot of power. Don't kid yourself. Well, don't delude yourself, more like it.